prototyping is going from one idea to actually a tangible product or website or application. And the rapid, obviously, it's doing it quick. So we all want to do things quick. So the agenda. Cool. So a small introduction about myself, an overview of the talk itself, a demo time that is going to be a little bit shorter just because I don't have my own laptop and it's going to be a little bit more difficult, and Q&A section. So cool. This is my name. I'm Josh Vázquez. If you say Vázquez, it's okay. It's not a problem. I'm a full stack developer / tech lead. I do only JavaScript. Don't give me .NET. Don't give me Java. Just give me JavaScript. I just love JavaScript. My picture, it's not as old as Tom one, but it's like a couple years old. And you can find me on LinkedIn with Josh Vázquez. It's the most reliable way of actually contacting me, although I don't do social networks. But anyway, you have GitLab, same exactly name. You have GitHub, same exactly name. And you can guess it, same exactly name for Twitter. The overview. So as I was talking before, this is about prototyping. So you have an idea and you want a product that represents that idea. The most important thing that you have to use on this case is putting clear what you want to achieve. So have your idea clear first of all. So what we are going to have right now, it's this. This is going to be our idea. This is, as you may recognize, it's a weather app. They have worse weather than our weather now. We have much better weather. Anyway, you can see it's just the weather of one location. You can scroll to a different city. You can add new cities if you want, and it just has some preloading, and you can delete some. Just not biggie, but well, it's an idea. Okay. So how do you go from the idea of a weather app to actually having a weather app? The most important part would be identifying what you want to create. So you see that we have like the degrees, we have the current status of the weather, we have the icon, the location that we are in, or the one that we have added, the next weather, like next days, next week, with different rows. So you can see that all of that are like small pieces of the idea. And then if you scroll, obviously, to the slide to the next one, if I can do it, yes. So it's the same thing. So it's kind of, that will be another extra block. So what we just did is just breaking down an idea into small achievable pieces in relatively not much time. So the tool that I like to use for doing rapid prototyping are the following ones, if this works. React, obviously, because this is a React meetup. We don't like Angular, we don't like Vue. Allows to create components. I know the other frameworks allows this too. Good. But I have to say that because of the nature of React, that it's JavaScript, you can actually have everything on the same file, and that's better than, for example, having it in Angular in a template file and the CSS file, and then your business logic file. It's like too many files, right? Great community. Like we have meetups, a lot of meetups. The community is really great. We have tutorials, we have libraries that we can actually plug in and they work. So it doesn't matter what you want to do. Probably someone already did it, and you can just grab that, put it there, and it works. And full JavaScript power. So this is the best thing. If you are a developer like me and you like JavaScript, you want to be on JavaScript land as much as you can, just because you are more comfortable, you have more skills, you enjoy your time there. And yes, so this is a small piece of code in JavaScript that probably all of you understand. If someone don't understand it, please raise your hand. Great, great. So we have an array. We can use map through it and just return a list of nice desserts, fruit that we could have some actually. Anyway, CSS. Okay, I just said before that I like JavaScript and I would like to spend all my time in JavaScript, but sadly, if we develop for web, we need to put some face on that, and the way of doing it is CSS. But with Tailwind CSS, it's faster than actually writing CSS, because I remember like 4 or 5 years ago when I started, and it was like, oh, it was great because you were like background color, margins, but after 2 years or 3 years or 4 years writing CSS, it's like, okay, I'm writing again and again the same properties. Like, why? Tailwind fixed that. It has like a small utility classes that you can just compose. It's built-in mobile first and theming, so that means that they have a specific variation of classes for different screen sizes. So you can have like a small, extra small, large, medium, and you can have different classes in the same component that you want to change depending on the screen size. And you have theming. So that means that if you don't want to care, or maybe you don't have a design team with you when you are starting prototyping and you just start writing code, you have some colors usually that's primary, secondary, or maybe other colors or a color palette, and you don't know them yet. You can customize them afterwards on the theming configuration, and you can change to like font sizes, font typographies, spacing sizes, so it's really, really handy. And you don't need to write CSS. That's the important bit, because we like JavaScript. And a small example on how Tailwind looks like. Oh, really? Oh, come on. Yes, it looks like this. So you have your HTML, you just start writing some classes, and it magically just start getting in shape. So class, just put purple color, and well, this is purple, it's not really showing. But anyway, you can change, you can put all the text on gray, you can center the text, and afterwards it's like, oh, that's actually don't resize or doesn't have a behavior. But you can actually add a class that says when you have a medium display, you just put flex, and then it's super easy just to put things together. And the third thing is test-driven development. I know we don't like tests, I know, but I did not like tests once upon a time, but now I do. Why? Because they actually focus on behavior, so you can think what you are going to do first, and then you just make it happen. It's kind of the same thing as I started before saying that you have to break down an idea to be able to build it, because if you start just from zero that you want to build something, you probably are going to get frustrated, not being able to achieve it because it's too complex. And with this way, you just focus on a specific problem and then you solve it. Helps write better code. I don't know if that happens to you, but I remember just writing my behavior and then just writing a test and having to end up changing the test because there was something that were not right, like functions that were not isolated, so the behavior wasn't clear. So at the end, I had to come back to the component and end up rewriting the component. So if you do TDD, that doesn't happen because you first write and then you just code, so it helps you in that. And you don't have to write tests afterwards. That's the best thing ever. Because usually you're just like, yes, I have my application, it works, everything, it's perfect, but oh yeah, I have to write tests. But some people say, oh, you don't need tests. It's like, no, I mean, really, you need tests, because if you, for example, change behavior or just improve, or you do a refactor, just a simple refactor, you don't have to think or re-go through all the applications saying like, oh, this is still working? No, you just have your test, and if they are still working, everything works. Everything's good. So how a test looks like, I hope that all of you already know what a test looks like. This specifically is using a React testing library that has some handy things, not more in time and shallow rendering. You just render a piece of DOM and just ask if there's something by test or by label test. And in this case, I'm sure that you could guess what the component is doing right now, right? If the test message it's hidden because you have like a kind of checkbox, let's say, should not be in the DOM. If I click the checkbox that it's labeled by show, then it should be in the document. So it's pretty straightforward. You should be able to go to a test, read the test, and understand what's happening. So I know, code. So I'll try to show you code. Like I say, it's not my laptop and probably something is going to go wrong. But anyway, I'll try. So this is a simple, really simple app based. So will be like the first step that you saw before with the full weather app with some basic components that are there. And if I can show you the localhost working, that would be nice. So, okay, blank screen, perfect. So there's nothing there, and we want to build something. So I'm more sure that you saw before. It would be nice to have here. Sorry, guys, but this is going to be a second. Or maybe not, because it's not my laptop and I cannot change the Anyway, you remember kind of how it looked. It's like the iPhone one, so it should be fairly easy. Anyway, we have the weather summary and weather location right now. Weather summary would be the small bit with the icon, what's the weather right now, and the degrees, and weather location would be where's that weather from. Because we are prototyping, we don't want to care about all the data, where it comes from and how it looks like. I'm getting the data from a MetaWeather API, and I have a small blob of JSON that I already got. So the structure, I don't want to think about the structure right now because it's just a prototype. And it's just a theory, and at some point in the repo you can check that I removed this, and you can go through the fetch API and get the real data. But for now, it's okay. So the important pieces are weather state name abbreviation, that it's for the image, the temperature, and that's it for now. We don't have a location. The location should be got from the API or from a geolocation service. So if we go to the app again, let's go to the weather summary component. So if we go to this component, we see that it's completely empty. And like I say, we are going to go through TDD. We already have a set test prepared, and we need to, what would you like this component to do? Probably it would be like just render and span with the text of the weather, an image, and that would be it, right? Cool. So you can do that fairly easily. You can get element, get by. Quick thing, you like code or you just prefer me talking? Code, yeah? Okay, cool. Just because, there's way people that doesn't like code, so just wanted to keep a check on that. So get by text. Okay, well, actually, I'm going to go first for the location one because it's easier. Okay, so the component accepts a name and a type. So in this case, we'll render London dash comma city. So if we want to check that actually that happens, it would be get by text without the all. And we would expect to have get by text with London city, right? Pretty straightforward. And obviously, if we save this, this is going to fail because that's the point of it. So if you see that would fail. This is super slow. It's not my machine. Anyway, it just fails. Cool. So we are going to fix it. So we go to the weather location component. We have a simple div there, simple span, sorry, and we want to make the test work. So ideally, we want to just render easily the name of the city and the type. what's going to happen if it goes? Come on. Next one. Yes, pass. So we can be completely confident that actually if we go to the website, well, we should be saying London City there. Okay, cool. Next component. I probably, because I'm not going to have much time, I could do this for a while, but probably I'm going to just switch in the next commit when I finish this, just because it's going to be easier. But we're going to do exactly the same thing here. So get by text and plus get by test ID, just because it's easier to get, for example, an image with a test ID, and it keeps a little bit more clear. So we expect get by text. We will expect showers, right? Because we have not today, but when I did this, it was showers. But London is usually showers, so it's anyway. So we have showers. We expect that to be in the DOM. To be in the DOM. Document. We expect to have the degrees too. So it's the temperature is 21 degrees. So temperature 21 degrees, cool. And we expect to have an image. So get by test ID. We can call it icon, for example. Let's get it like this. Const icon equals to, if this behaves, get the test ID icon as an HTML element, image element. So we expect the icon to be a big URL that we don't have right now with the S abbreviation. And to do that, I actually had it prepared on my laptop, and here I'm going to need to go through the commits because it's going to be easier. Quickly. By the way, this code, it's available and you can check it out if you want to just see what are the steps I'm going from one place to the other. Pretty straightforward. There's a little bit of really easy stuff, and then using hooks, then doing crazy stuff with scrolling, using reducer for hooks. There's different varieties of complexity, but the important part that we want is just this. So here, so we want this to be this string. Cool. This is going to fail again. We can just go now to fix it. So if we go on to the summary, we can fix that. So we are, because we say that we expect the showers, the image, and the degrees, we can just create it here. So const the status, it is going to be the weather. You see? Okay, yeah, I hope so. Anyone having problems seeing the screen? No one? Okay, cool. So we have the weather name. Okay. Const. We have the temperature. Temperature. That it's going to be the weather. The temperature with to fixed, just because we don't want to have decimals on the temperature. Okay, and then we want the image. So the image is going to be just an image with the src that we wanted to use. So it's going to be this with the abbreviation here. Pretty straightforward too. So whether the abbreviation. So right now we can just start putting here things. So we can put the status, we can put the image, and we can put the other degree. So because this is like two blocks, I'm just going to do a dip here to wrap these two. And then the other span here with the temperature. That's going to be the temperature and the symbol, right? Something like this. Ideally, this is going to pass now, if I just did not miss anything, hopefully. Ooh, yeah, sorry, I just missed something. So there was a missing part here. So now it should work. Come on. Yeah, true. So I told before that I was going to use this utility get test by ID. By test ID, and this means that you actually have to tag your HTML. So you can put data.testid and call it icon. This is pretty handy because it's easier just to grab things, and when it's not supported by the standard methods, it's the best way of doing it. Anyway, okay. It's not working on the SRC just because of that. Sure. Sorry, guys. This was not what I was expecting. It's the SRC. I was not checking the right place. Anyway, now it should work. And the problem that we are going to have is that, so we achieved what we wanted. The things are behaving as it should. If we check the website, it would be something there. But it's not beautiful at all, right? So here is when Tailwind comes in place. And what we can do with Tailwind is let's get the location here, get the location, and start writing some classes. So we have one class. Obviously, this isn't going to work here. It has auto-completion, but this laptop is not configured for that. So I'm going to probably copy the classes from the commit, just because it's easier, faster, basically. So we have a class for the text sizes, so text 3XL to not be too big. Then we have, come on, class name. You can do it. This is going to be a little bit bigger because it's the degree, so we are going to put a 6L there. We want this to be flex with a flex call, for example, with the item center. The same thing here for the inner class. The image, we want to have a specific width, so we can put width 8. It has like a proportional of 4 numbers anyway. So width 8, and this kind of should be a little bit better than it was before. So if we... Sorry? Thank you. Auto-completion solves that for you. Yeah, I copied twice. Thank you. So we check this. Now it should be a little bit better, just a little bit. So we have a wrapper that is the app that we are going to style to. So we can put here the same kind of thing. So flex call. I'm abusing a little bit of flex, I know, but I just love flex. Justify center, and I'm going to put like because I want to get the full screen. Absolute. And I'm going to copy just because it's just easier. So absolute, insert 0, a flex, and a justify, like I was putting here, but like this. Cool. So now we should have something a little bit more beautiful. Just a little bit, you know? It seems not much, but we have the first step on actually getting our real product. So the good thing is that you can now iterate over it. So first thing, I don't know how I'm going with the time. So it's 20, probably I don't have much time. 5 minutes? Oh, whatever. Okay, let's go forever. Okay, so let's move a little bit faster now, just because I have some steps onto the code branch, so we can just jump a little bit. So if we just get rid of all that we did now, git reset har. Okay, we can just check out step 2 probably. So step 2 already did this. We can actually go to step 3. I would love to do that now, but there's not much time. So next weathers would be the next step, like putting the predictions for the week. So how we do that will be getting the next day's prediction for the array that we had, adding a new component, and just putting a little bit of logic. So what would you expect to find onto the next day's spec file? Some volunteer that wants to share what they would expect to find in the next day's spec test?
I'm happy now with the days shown with an icon, temperature or whatever.
Okay, so kind of. So we have a number of rows, okay? In this case 2, because I am only passing to weathers itself, that we are checking like weather rows, and each one of the rows is going to have an image, like the previous one, a day, a mean temperature, a max temperature, right? This, if you check this, you can kind of know how actually looks the component. So the component will be something like this, next days. So it's just a wrapper that has a weathers.map, and for each one it has a weather row. And the weather row is just the image, the day, because we want to use a readable day. I'm using day.js, that it's like moment.js or any other, but it's quite small and really, really handy and useful. Mean temperature, max temperature, and we just paste some code there. And this should work. Again, obviously it works because it's already on the repo. But it should be like kind of 5 minutes more to build this small step again. And you already have kind of half of the application, right? The only thing that we need is now fetching some data, get the geolocation from the user, and that's it. So if you want to see something a little bit more difficult, I can just go quickly to show you one of the things that I'm more proud on this repo that I did the other day, that it was like, oh, what I can do. So there's different steps, adding scrolling, adding a little bit more of a styling, adding React hooks, for example. We had a really nice talk about hooks with it's really difficult. HX, great. And it was really, really nice. Don't use hooks anyway. No, use hooks. They are really nice, but be careful. So, for example, I'm going to show you, if I can get this. I would like to see what do you think about this. I don't know if you are kind of, you know Redux. I assume that you know Redux, right? So there's a concept about reducers, and if you check about React hooks, they are really nice. But sometimes the logic it's a little bit weird because you have like different set of states, and you can do things like this. So you can have like the different. This is for the adding a new location. So you can have the different actions that you have. Like you have the search, you have the results, and when you actually do a search, you put the loading to true, the results to null, and you have the query. And when you get the results back from the fetch, you actually just set everything there, and the component just works perfectly. It's like really, really, really nice. And if you, this actually was a refactor of how it was working, and I didn't know how to change anything but this file. So it was just, because it was tested, I only had to just change how it was working. Changing like set loading and set result. This is a common practice when you end up having hooks. It's like, oh yeah, just dispatch an action and just deal with that in the backend. So anyway, if you want to check it, it's quite nice to see how something steps there. but my time now is just getting over. I'm just checking it here. So really sorry, this was much better prepared, but like I said, it's not my laptop. So if you want to check the code and the project itself, you can check it out if you are interested. If not, anyway, you can just go to josh.bask in GitLab and you can check it out. And that will be it.